Daily God's Promise Day 5 Psalms 30-11 You have turned for me my mourning into dancing. You have put off my sackcloth and clothed me with gladness. This verse is David's testimony of personal restoration from sorrow to celebration. Mourning represents a season of deep grief, often tied to loss, disappointment, or spiritual brokenness. Dancing is a symbol of freedom, joy, and renewed hope. David doesn't say he turned mourning into dancing, he says God did. This is divine intervention. God personally steps into grief and replaces it with rejoicing. Only God has the power to take what was meant to break you and turn it into your breakthrough. Sackcloth was worn during times of mourning, repentance, or national crisis in ancient Israel. It was a symbol of humility, heaviness, and sorrow, rough, uncomfortable, and external. To put off sackcloth means the season of pain has ended, and the mourning is no longer needed. God doesn't just remove the outward symbols of grief, He restores from the inside out. God doesn't leave us uncovered, He replaces sorrow with something better. To be clothed with gladness means joy is not a passing feeling but a lasting covering. This gladness is not superficial happiness, it's a deep, spirit-born joy that sustains the soul. In Isaiah chapter 61 verse 3, God promises to give His people a garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. In Genesis chapter 50 verse 20, Joseph tells his brothers, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." In 2 Samuel chapter 6 verse 14, David dances before the Lord with all his might, expressing uninhibited joy in God's presence. In John chapter 16 verse 20, Jesus tells His disciples, "Your sorrow will turn into joy." In Romans chapter 15 verse 13, Paul prays that God would fill us with joy and peace as we trust in Him. In Revelation chapter 21 verse 4, God promises to wipe away every tear, mourning, crying, and pain will be no more. This verse assures us that sorrow is not our final state, joy is our inheritance. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Psalm chapter 30 verse 5. For the modern believer, this promise speaks to every heart that has endured seasons of loss, despair, or depression. It reminds the church that God is not only a deliverer, but a restorer of joy. God doesn't just end the trial, He rewrites the testimony. In a generation struggling with anxiety, grief, and emotional weight, this verse declares, joy is still possible. God has the power to shift your atmosphere, internally and externally. Today, He invites us to take off the identity of grief and be clothed with His gladness. This is a divine exchange, mourning for dancing, heaviness for hope. Let this be your declaration. My sorrow has a limit, but God's joy has no end. God bless you and give you grace after grace.